Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video that I don't know what to think about this video actually, so I'm not going to even try to describe it. But the title is Everything in Switzerland Can Kill You, and I saw this video as a pop-up on the screen. It's typical, you know, you check out a video related to a particular area, country, anything, sport, whatever it is, and you get more of it. So we're going to be checking out this video right now. I honestly don't understand how everything in Switzerland can kill you, but we're going to be checking out this video right now, so thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations, feel free to leave us in the comment section down below, or preferably click that link in the pinned comment section and you can recommend videos using that link, and I'll check them out as soon as possible. Without further ado, man, let's find out how everything in Switzerland can kill you, because I'm very interested in the title of this video, and I am hoping it's not clickbait, because I'd be disappointed, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to know that everything in Switzerland could kill you, but I don't know. It doesn't sound cool. It just sounds interesting. You know what I mean? So it's not cool like I'm amused by, but it's like interesting. Like, wait, what? Just like finding out that Switzerland and America had a little bit of moment where they had a little scrap. But either ways, without further ado, let's get right to this video.
Australia may have a reputation for having a lot of natural elements that could really only be described as hostile nightmare fuel. Switzerland is one giant bespoke ambush just waiting for an invader. Everywhere you go in this country, in particular the area around the Alps, has hidden features that are purposely designed to make an invading army's life absolutely miserable. There are houses, barns, and bunkers that hide artillery and machine gun positions. Inside those defenses are highly trained men and women. Outside those defenses are also highly trained civilians, as every man has compulsory military service training, and women serve voluntarily. Mountain tunnels, bridges, and roads are literally rigged to explode into ruins. Entering into a valley is essentially just becoming a target of the unseen guns hidden in the rock faces, and sometimes even in the rocks themselves.
Holy shit! Looking at the barrel of that thing, shorty. But yeah, I can see the angle where this video is coming from, which is pretty accurate if you ask me. Based on what I've seen and heard about Switzerland thus far, it's pretty accurate. But damn,
Switzerland has been able to maintain their neutrality throughout multiple wars going on all around them, using the best offense is a good defense technique. That and some questionably strategic diplomatic alliances. But we're going to focus on the first part. This overarching defense is known as the National Redoubt, and it began in the 1880s. As an American and as a veteran, it's easy to see the advantages that a place like America has defensively. The world's two largest oceans on either side, and two friendly countries to the north and south.
I hope that stays the same. I hope that statement, you know, the friendly countries, like I hate where things has went, you know, since the year began. It hasn't been good at all. I don't want Canada and the United States to no longer be buddies. I don't like that.
Tons of natural resources. It is ideal for keeping your enemies at a distance. And if they get a little too close, we always have the most heavily armed populace on Earth to fall back on.
That I do not agree with. That I do not agree with. Yeah, Americans got a lot of guns, but they do not know how to use it.
Switzerland has nearly the opposite situation. Landlocked, they are surrounded on all sides by much larger nations who have a history of attempting to destroy one another. But what makes their location so advantageous is the lovely, awe-inspiring, and majestic Alps.
That's pretty.
The Swiss looked around them at all of their angry neighbors and then looked at the soaring mountains of their homeland and said, yeah, we can make these kill people. The country itself isn't all mountains, though. The northern area is less so, as it follows the borders of France and Germany, respectively. As you go south, the Alps create impassable ranges and deep canyons and valleys. Because of this, the redoubt is essentially a defense in depth, composed of what is known as the border line, army line, and finally the Alpine fortress. Man-made features are utilized in the somewhat more open north and southeast, similar to the Maginot Line of France, with bunkers, artillery, and weapons essentially hiding in plain sight, covering large open areas that could be used by a motorized adversary. Any invading army, should they somehow begin to overwhelm the Swiss, would be met with a near constant series of barricades and infrastructure meant solely to delay their advance. Concrete Toblerones, taller than a below average stature man, would stop tanks and motorized vehicles in their tracks. Barn doors would open to reveal cannons, artillery, and guns, with several being connected by underground tunnel networks. Houses like the Villa Rose and the Villa Verde, upon closer inspection, are concrete bunkers, hiding all sorts of weapons. In the hills around the valley, what appears to be lodges and houses are all concealing devastating batteries that would punish anyone bold enough to come across the pass. The enormous mountainsides hid even more weapons, as well as enormous bunker networks, and even hangars for attack aircraft that could quickly drive across little mountain villages to their airbase and take off. All of this would allow the government to reconstitute behind steep mountain ranges within the Alpine perimeter. Much like the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, they would only have to defend several mountain passes and would have the advantage of a network of defensive guns, the high ground, and above all else, local knowledge and a trained populace. And once knowing these facts, as you drive around Switzerland, you start to look at buildings and rocks a little differently. Like, what's behind that door? Is that rock really a rock? And there's a decent chance it might not be. And all of that is waiting for you if you get past the first two lines of defense, that being the army and the border defenses. That border is mostly along natural features that funnel movement into Switzerland, usually across a bridge or through a tunnel, all of which are rigged to explode through extensive demolitions built into the structure. Seriously, the bridges and tunnels leading in and out of the country, and dozens more within the country itself, are all purpose-built to be self-sabotage, leaving an invading force with no reasonably feasible way to penetrate the border on the ground. 50 years of constructing these defenses became pretty invaluable in the late 1930s. Despite the repeated assurances of a gentleman known as Adolf Hitler that no matter what happened, the Reich would respect Swiss neutrality, the Swiss decided to bolster their fortifications with new constructions and updated infrastructure. The man put in charge of this strategy was...
And that's exactly smart. Like, dude, why the hell would I listen to what my ops gotta say, bro? Like, not because I'm not gonna fight my ops means that my ops are gonna respect, ops meaning opponents. Not because I'm not gonna fight with them means that they're gonna respect the fact that I'm not gonna fight with them. They're gonna, like, come on, man. You always gotta be prepped. You gotta be ready.
General Henri Guisan. He oversaw the reinforcements of the defensive lines, as well as the stockpiling of supplies that would be needed to hold out in the Alps. This would all become very real when France fell to Germany in June of 1940, leaving them almost entirely surrounded by the Axis. Lacking tanks and armor, the only practical solution to a siege of the country would be Guisan's defensive plan of falling back to the Alpine core and destroying any potential points of access for the Axis. Despite the politically amicable relationship Switzerland had with its neighbors and the participants in World War II, both they and Hitler knew it was only a matter of time before Germany and Italy turned their attention on little neutral Switzerland. In private, Hitler regularly described the Swiss as both miserable and disgusting. They were the complete inverse of his personally designed brand of fascism, as they tolerated not only different identities and languages, but also operated effectively as a democracy. The high command of Nazi Germany would regularly hear outbursts by Hitler regarding the Swiss sitting so close, yet so far out of his reach. The real problem, though, was that he considered them ethnically Germans, and in doing so would need to absorb the Swiss in his pan-German reunification plan, no matter what. The plan was designated Operation Tannenbaum, It was expected to take 300,000 to 500,000 German soldiers to accomplish a successful defeat of the Swiss, with Germany attacking from the north, Italy from the south, and the two countries splitting the conquered lands upon completion. But the invasion never comes, and the question still arises to this day as to why. Obviously, when considering an invasion of Switzerland, Hitler may have been a bit hesitant to commit his army to what he knew to be a literal death trap, knowing full well that opening a third front with a group of people that have literally tunneled into the mountains with enough weapons, ammunition, and supplies to defend themselves from literally everyone
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
could
good
potentially
idea.
cause issues elsewhere.
I think it's as simple as this. If you're anything of the sort, like the guy who you're watching on the video, and if you're like myself, who is just base knowledge, very interested in military, it's quite simple. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're weakening your strength. Right, when you're fighting so many other places, you don't want to do that. You gotta build. Once you've built right there, you can add on, right? And then when you add on, you gotta completely make sure that what you added is not a fighting situation where people are rebelling. It has to be a full 100% conquer, and that's the simple truth. Like, I think that if Hitler had successfully conquered other countries to where, there's no more fighting going on over there, and he was able to focus on this country, he would likely invade, because he doesn't care about the guys who have to die to figure this thing out. He'd just do it because he has so much strength, right? So much manpower that he'd lose about 20, 30%, 40% of power, but it wouldn't matter because he'd likely believe to himself, I would be successful if I lose 40% of my power, but at least guess what? I'm not fighting anywhere else. I'm good, right? So losing 40% while you're just fighting one person, but you actually successfully conquered them, it's not that big of a hit. But losing 40% while you're fighting other places, that's gonna ruin everything, right? And I think probably that's one of the reasons why he backed out, because Switzerland would have given him a rough time. It's that simple. And why would you want to waste your time on some country that is going to kick your ass, and you're going to have to use a lot of force just to, scramble out of there with success? You know what I mean? It's not real success if you got to scramble out of there. One guy's left out of the 100,000. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. So I think maybe he analyzed the situation or was advised about the situation. I don't know.
Where? The final showdown would probably take months, if not years, and would be after bypassing the death traps and the extremely high likelihood that the Swiss poisoned the Rhine River, which supplied Germany with fresh drinking water. Committing that many men and that much logistically to a siege would bleed the Third Reich dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with German supplies of chocolate, watches, and pocket knives running dangerously low, an attack on Switzerland was for many reasons just not worth it. Additionally, Switzerland, should it remain neutral to the Nazis, could be used to store the plundered spoils of the Nazis' nefarious deeds, and should the Reich fail, would potentially be a safe haven for those hiding from justice. The juice just wasn't worth the squeeze, at least not yet. In the end, though, the true defense was deterrence. Even if he did succeed, what then? What was left?
Exactly.
A lost bastion in the event of the Reich failure, which, as time went on, became more and more of a possibility. No, despite his lack of patience regarding the Swiss, Hitler would have to wait for peace to be assured with the Allies before he could consider the total pan-German unification with the last piece of his puzzle, Switzerland. As we all know, that peace would come only with his defeat. Hitler probably made the right choice not to invade. The exploding bridges and tunnels, as well as the Alps, were only two of the three defensive lines waiting for him. The third, the army itself, is capable of mobilizing literally millions of trained citizens, which is exactly what they did as more and more countries fell to the Axis powers. Even today, able-bodied men are still mandated to train, shoot, and be ready. Once complete with training, they even have the option of taking their rifle home with them, which many elect to do. There's more than one gun for every 4 residents of Switzerland, which puts them in about the top 10% in the world as far as per capita gun ownership. Take a guess in the comments what it is in America. I'll give you a hint. It's over 100 guns for every 100 people. America. But
yeah, but 90, you and I both know 90% of the people with that don't even know what to do with it. Come on. Come on. It's not the same as Switzerland. Like, I'm not trying to downplay gun ownership in the United States. A lot of people own guns, but a lot of people own like multiple guns. It's the reality. I've had many people in my lifetime that I know that owns multiple guns, right? Multiple. And they don't know how to use it well. They just have it just in case somebody trying to rob them or something. They like, okay, back up. Poo-poo, pow. That's it. Come on now. It's not like Switzerland where they actually get trained how to, you know what I'm saying, pop off and defend their spot. Right? It ain't no training going on in America. Like, you just ain't got to have no criminal records. That's it. But the Swiss, it ain't about criminal or nothing. It's about defense. 100%. So, yeah, though the gun ownership is higher in the United States, it's not as effective. Let's just be real. To be trained versus just to have possession of something is not the same. I can have a $1 million F1 car. That doesn't mean I know how to whip that thing, right? But one of them dudes who know how to do it, Lewis Hamilton, it's a total different game. You know what I mean? They train, that's their thing. You know what I mean? So I don't think comparing Americans to Swiss, in fact, American citizens or American men to most European country men, right? Most men in European countries. I don't think it's fair to compare the average American man to the average European man, in my humble opinion. Majority of European men go through military. It's not fair.
Swiss are known for their precision, and this extends to their training, as they even have a shooting range that goes across an active highway, and a field full of cows. No one bats an eye at this because literally every man is trained to shoot, and discipline is the expectation, not the exception.
Exactly.
Commuters cruise along completely unaware that the bullets are literally flying over their head, and even if they knew, they'd probably honestly be fine with it. In the post-World War II world, the National Redoubt didn't go anywhere. Though they are now surrounded by NATO countries, those under the influence of the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact alliance still left a threat that required attention. As nuclear war became an increasingly larger threat, the Swiss expertise in tunneling and bunker building further reinforced the country's ability to defend itself, this time from the air. Almost every home in Switzerland has a bomb shelter in the basement capable of keeping a family alive and safe through the initial stages of a nuclear attack. Furthermore, many of the defensive tunnels built into the mountainsides have been expanded to include areas that can be used as hospitals, barracks, kitchens, and warehouses. In 1978, a mandate was enacted that there would be enough fallout shelters to protect the entire population of the country, something that was adhered to, leaving hundreds of thousands of bunkers across the nation. Fortress Switzerland is still very much intact, as is their neutrality. The Swiss may have hundreds of thousands of bunkers here, but in Utah, the Mormons have one as well, and inside it is your information. Check out this video here where I'll explain why they have all the major details of your life filed away. Thanks for watching.
Okay, don't creep me out, dude. Chill out, bro. Chill out. The Mormons have what? Anyway, shout out to Utah. Anyways, but yeah, beautiful video from my guy Mason. You guys can go check out his channel. He seems to have a lot of videos related to bunkers and a lot of very interesting stuff. So you can go over there and check out his videos. But I definitely think the Swiss have figured it out. I think what's the most important thing right now is to have bunkers and airspace. Like ground troops are not that important in my humble opinion in this time period that we're living in. It's just not that important because like you can literally wipe out a ground crew like in a matter of seconds. Like, let's just be real, right? So having it on air and the ground troops obviously is important, but that's like for the aftermath in my humble opinion, the way how wars are going these days. It's like so much planes and bombs being dropped. It's like nuclear bombs. Like, what the hell a damn ground troop gonna do versus a nuclear bomb? Like, you can't do nothing. You gotta go hide, right? And I don't even know. I don't want to hear about war, bro. I hope that thing happens after I die. Well, I hope it doesn't happen, to be honest. But I'm saying in the case when it's supposed to happen, I want to be here, brother. Y'all can handle that sometime else. Like, I can't deal with that, bro. Like, I don't know why we can't just live in peace. It's crazy, but the thirst for blood is weird to me. Thirst for blood, land, and money. It's weird. It's weird to me. Just take what you got, man. That's how I look at it. But this was a beautiful video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and feedbacks in the comment section down below. I'm out of here. Peace.